Right now, railroad workers say they're getting a raw deal from a new law. One part of the big spending bill passed by Congress makes it so people don't have to pay taxes on overtime pay. But that exemption does not include railroad workers. Channel 8's Jake Allman spoke with a local union member, and Jake Jones is live now with more. Jake.
Yeah, hey, Rod and Sophia. The railroad industry is taking this one hard. They're one of the few industries that were left out of that tax break after legislation passed through. Now, today I got a chance to talk with those that were impacted by this bill, and they detailed why they feel they were carved out. Railroad workers facing the brunt of the latest piece of legislation. Last week, the big, beautiful bill signed into law, allowing no tax on tips or overtime for several workforces. But one industry that was excluded, railroad workers. Nate Lee, a full-time employee for BNSF Railways, says he was stunned when he heard the news.
It just feels like one of those things where, again, it's the working class gets the crumbs, and you're supposed to be full of gratitude for it.
The state of Nebraska has over 3,000 miles worth of railroads, and part of the reason this industry is left out was because they're covered by the Railway Labor Act, which has its own procedures for collective bargaining agreements. According to Jacob Forskin, that was removed from the final piece.
Now, when that bill went to the House and the reconciliation happened in Congress and the House of Representatives, they got rid of that collective bargaining agreement language.
And Forsgren says they tried to reach out to other senators to strike up an amendment.
But of the 45 amendments that were considered and voted on, they would not even bring our amendment to the floor for a vote.
Railroad workers make up one of the heaviest overtime worked industries.
The nature of our work, we do work tons of overtime. In fact, on my way here this week, I received a phone call from a member that had worked 76 hours of overtime in that pay half. That's a 2-week pay period.
We've got a lot of guys that, it's sun up, sun down in a lot of cases.
And in Nebraska, there are almost 27,000 retired or active railroad workers. Lee says that's a big chunk of what makes up this state.
Entire towns that are structured around railroad workers. That's the industry there. That's the big deal. And so it definitely feels, when you can't get any help, even from your local representatives, it definitely feels like, you're useful until you're not. And now Forsgren tells me that they're going to continue to fight this. They're going to try and, of course, work with lawmakers at the local level as well at the nation's capital in hopes of finding a solution. For now, reporting live, you're in Lincoln. Jake Cohen, Channel 8 News.